This week's guest on the Creative Genius podcast is interior designer and longtime friend of Pro Collective, Tina Ramchandani. In this episode, Erin asks Tina all about how she crafts her client experience and delights clients at every turn. Tina shares her thoughtful process, communication habits, and the personalized touches that keep her clients feeling cared for, no matter how busy their New York lifestyle may be.
All right, so Tina, thank you so much for being here today. We're going to be talking all about the client journey, from that very first inquiry of a design client coming in, seeing if they're the right fit, to the full project completion. And of course, all of the thoughtfulness, the systems, the personal touches, and everything in between to create a really seamless, high-touch experience for a happy client. So why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Tina and your world in design?
Yeah, well, thank you. I'm so excited to be chatting with you, as always, today. My name is Tina Ramchandani. I am an interior designer based in New York City. I have a small but mighty team. We focus on warm, modern interiors that we call soulful minimalism. And the idea behind this is we like to create environments for our clients so they are surrounded by the things that matter, so they can focus on the people that matter. So it's really building a welcoming lifestyle for them that reflects who they are and what their family represents.
I love that. All right, so let's start at the very beginning. How do your clients typically find you, and what does your intake process look like?
Yeah, so our clients find us in a number of ways. Referrals are always the best. Oftentimes, they are friends of past clients. They have many times been in the homes that we've designed, whether it's for drinks or dinner or play dates. They've seen our work firsthand. We also have a great referral system. So we get a lot of leads from realtors. That's a great one for us. And a lot of people say that they find us on Instagram, though I don't know that it is necessarily truly Instagram. Some people are from Instagram direct, but others have found us throughout the years. Maybe it is word of mouth, or maybe it is from an article that we've been published in, or, a referral source, another referral source, and then they start following us on Instagram, and they follow us for a number of years before they're ready to reach out. So we have sort of a good multi-pronged system of where our leads are coming from.
And tell me a little bit about your referral system with your realtors, because you said it's past clients. Realtors are your best referral sources.
Yeah, well, in New York City, you're not allowed to pay for referrals for realtors. So really, it's just good energy. So I like to be around people that are kind and supportive and like-minded, and people that I enjoy and I have fun with. And so I meet a lot of realtors in our business, and we have coffees and drinks and just kind of hang out, and we've become friends. And I'll do for them whatever I can, if it's advice on their own home or helping them with something that they need for a client, floor plans, or just general advice, referrals to contractors or painters or whatever. And in return, they share my name along with others for their people that are closing on their homes. And it's not just one. They don't just say, hey, call Tina. They say, hey, call Tina and two other people. We get a call, and most of the time it works out.
Awesome. Well, I'm wondering too, with your clients, if you get so many referrals from clients, that usually means you've got a great client journey, which obviously we're talking about today. Because if you've got happy clients, then they're wanting to share the good news of who helped them with their beautiful home. And hey, I can get you in contact with Tina as well. So I'm excited to learn about your client journey today and some of those touch points.
Yeah, well, we're always working on the client journey, and we really enjoy working with great people. So it's kind of a natural progression on how we work with these clients, but I'm happy to talk about it.
All right. Well, let's start with that discovery call. What do you gather as far as information during the initial discovery call? And do you have an intake form as they're scheduling that discovery call?
No, we used to have a form. We found that half the time it wasn't being filled out, and it was annoying to nag people to fill this out. We work with high-end clients, and they oftentimes are busy professionals and they don't want to be bothered to take an extra step. So they reach out however they reach out. If it is on Instagram direct, if it's through the website, if it's through House, if it's through an email, they reach out and Laura, who's our operations manager, sets up a call. So we prefer a Zoom. Sometimes it is just a phone call, but right away we just offer them the next available time and we try and hop on a Zoom to chat with them.
Okay. And then what are some of the requirements that she's using to know that they're the right fit for you to move forward as a true prospect for your business?
So actually, both of us are on that first Zoom.
Oh, okay.
So
cool.
yeah, we thought about having just Laura do it. We received feedback from clients that they loved that I was one of their first points of contacts. And I know that everybody does this differently and every firm is different, but some of our best clients have said that they've gotten on a call with a designer or a design firm and the designer wasn't on the call, and that's why they didn't go with that firm. So I will still be on every Zoom if humanly possible, unless I am out of town or something. I will be on that discovery Zoom to really hear and see what the client is asking for.
So you really are taking what you're hearing, the feedback that you're hearing, and implementing it and going, okay, this might work for other people to not have the owner be on the very first, or the main designer to be on the very first call, but that's not necessarily what your ideal client is looking for. So
yeah, they're looking for a personal connection.
Okay. So do you have any, what are some of those requirements that you're looking for as far as an ideal client?
So really, obviously budget. So obviously they have to have a realistic idea of spend, but what I'm really listening for are their needs and their wants. If they are realistic about what they want to achieve in the budget, if they are realistic about time frame, and if they are not realistic, are they open to feedback and a different way of working? So some people come to us with no clue. They say, I don't know what my budget is going to be. These are the things that I want. I may suggest a range. And if they say that's great, then we can continue the conversation. If they say that's way out of line, then that's our answer right there. Some people say, I want something overnight. And if we say, this is what we can do for you overnight versus what's realistic, if they're open to different ways of working, we can continue the conversation. So I think that's another reason that I'm on the call along with Laura, is so the two of us can hear things, and everybody hears things differently, right? So I might hear something one way, Laura may hear something another way. We'll get off the call and confer and say, this is what I think that they wanted. The majority of the time, we're able to come up with a way of working with people, but it's nice to have both of us on that call.
Do you find that you have certain professions or occupations that are not really a great fit for your creative or your personality and your work style? I know some people are like, avoid attorneys, or they avoid accountants, or, there's certain occupations that it's just like, that that's not really an occupation that you can drive with very well, or do you feel like
I used to think that, but I don't anymore. I love attorneys. I think attorneys are amazing, and they are to the point. They understand. They understand my time billing, and they are very clear with what they want. No, I don't think it is. For me personally, it's not a profession. It is a approach to the world. So we really look for kindness, and we look for someone who understands what's really important in life. So I think you can be in any profession, but if you understand that delays are not anybody's fault and we are really here to do the best for you, then we're going to be a good fit together. So I don't think it's a profession thing for me personally.
So what kind of tools do you use to manage this discovery process of bringing prospects and bringing them into clients?
We have a spreadsheet. We've tried everything.
Yeah, that a lot of people have, so I appreciate that.
Well, we used to use Dubsado as our CRM, and this is when we had the forms. So we had, a really robust system, and it would send out reminders, and we kept track of everything. And there were tags, but honestly, it was too much because most of the clients that are looking to hire us are, like I said, very busy, and they don't want a lot of connection points via email or text to remind them that we have a call X, Y, and Z. So they email us or they message us. We email them back, set up a call. They get a calendar invite with the Zoom link. It goes into our spreadsheet with many, many columns because Gail likes us to track our whatever closing rates,
right?
Yeah, you got it, where they came from and the closing rates and all the things. But it's a simple spreadsheet and it's great because anyone can add, we have an amazing admin named Kristen. So she's the one filling out the spreadsheet, but I can go in and see what's happening very easily.
Okay. So everybody's on the same page with where that client is at.
Yeah.
Okay. So then once the client is ready to move forward, how do you guide them into your world, into the onboarding process and bring them on so that they're excited, they know the action's happening and that they're in the right hands?
So one of the things that we've done is we've branded our proposal and our client roadmap, which happens after they've signed the contract. So they're getting a proposal with our pictures and information about us, all of that stuff, time billing, how much to expect. They see it in a beautiful way. They understand it. We have another Zoom. They say yes. We move into a contract. Once the contract is signed, Laura sends them a pretty detailed email with a roadmap. So again, it's branded and it has highlights of all the things. What our meeting structure is like, which they already knew from before, but we say it again, what the meeting structure is like. We suggest meeting dates. So we let them know ahead of time, these are the dates that we're going to be seeing you, and this is what we're going to be discussing. Here's a link to your Dropbox. These are the things that we need from you, right? Like if we're in New York City, we need your alteration agreement. We need the information for your super. If you're working with any trades, we need all of that stuff. So it's pretty information. It's full of information that they have to digest. And we're also working on another checklist because we know that even though it's all in there, there are personality types that can't have that much information. So they have this roadmap, they have it in an email, and we're working on a quick checklist to get all of that stuff through.
Okay. And then how are you setting expectations around the timelines, the budget, communication style? How are you gathering all of that and letting them know what your expectations are, but also understanding how they want to be communicated with? And
so honestly, it goes back to that first discovery call because at that time, I also discuss our process and I tell them this is how long design is going to take, right? So if we keep it really simple and we're not doing any construction and it's a straight decorative project, for us to design to the level that you see our work, we're at 4 to 5 months before you've purchased anything. That's how long it's going to take us to get to this stage. So we let them know ahead of time, and we have the cadence of meetings is about 6 weeks. You got 4 to 5 meetings in there. Around meeting 3, we can start purchasing if we need to pivot, because we do pivot for clients and their specific needs. So we say it in the beginning, it's in the proposal, it's again in the roadmap, and then they get calendar invites to their suggested meeting dates so they know when they're going to see us. So there is no confusion about what we're doing.
Okay. And what about communication style around hiccups in the project, right? Like when you run into a roadblock or you've got some information that maybe is not exactly what they're going to want to hear, how do you address that up front on how you're going to communicate that?
Yeah. I pick up the phone and call them. So every project has a lead designer plus me. The lead designer is really the person that's going to push this project through and get everything done properly. They're also the ones that are in communication with the client daily or weekly, because we send weekly updates to them. So any small hiccups that happen, they can go into the email. That's easy because you're also getting updates from our team weekly. So a couple things here and there. Hey, dining table's delayed. No big deal. That stuff is all in the email. If it's a really big issue, they will hear it from me. I will pick up the phone and call. Unless there is some reason I can't make a phone call, the senior designer, the lead designer will make that phone call. It needs to, I think you need to kind of talk about it. You don't know when someone's going to check their email. They could be on the subway and fine, or they could be having a horrible day. And then you put something in an email and people will react. So I think it's important to talk.
For sure. For sure. So do you have any rituals or materials outside of that roadmap for how the project's going to lay out that help those clients feel excited and cared for right from the beginning?
Yeah. Well, we do a lot of gifting.
Okay.
So when they are signed on, they will get a gift from us. Sometimes it's at the discovery or, first discovery meeting because it's soon after signing. If the meeting is going to be scheduled a few months out, we send them a gift. We also gift throughout the process. So if your birthday is during the project, you're getting something for your birthday. If we're in construction and you feel like the client is going to get frustrated because things are taking longer, they're going to get some wine or liquor from us, or depending on what they want. So we don't have a set thing for each phase, but we're constantly thinking about how is the client feeling and what do they want, So sometimes it's also a handwritten note like, hey, thinking of you, XYZ. If I'm out shopping for another client and I know that they're probably feeling anxious about something, I'll shoot them a quick text, even though we don't really text our clients, and say, hey, saw this, thought of you. I'm going to call you on Monday. Just so they always feel like they're top of mind.
Yeah, because it seems pretty clear that they are. You're thinking,
they are. Yeah.
It's not something that you have to try to do. It's something that you're naturally doing because that's part of who you are too. So that's great.
Well, it's because we want to feel so connected with them so we can design specifically for them. So we get in their head and we understand them.
Right. Because that's how you can do the best job for them.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the design process and your workflow with that. I don't think we need to walk through the whole design process. But what does your meeting structure look like for those project timelines that you said that you pre-schedule, you give suggested dates for pre-scheduled meetings. But then what does the format of those meetings look like? Is it something that they come into the office, you meet them out on the site?
It depends on the project and what's happening. We like to have them in the office as much as possible. So for our first meeting, which is discovery, it may be a blend. We may go to their house because we also have to survey. Or if it is a different location, we'll have them come in for discovery and then we'll go survey later. Vision is always in the office because we are presenting a lot of material, right? We're not just visuals like a presentation deck, but we've got rug samples and flooring samples and metal and, marble. So we have a lot of stuff. So we do it here in the office. Also, we can then pull from other things if they're not feeling like it's the right thing. So that's always in person in the office. If we're doing a remote project, we will send a full set to them, or we will fly down with all of our materials to do it in person. I don't think virtual works for this meeting. We've done it. It's okay. It can happen.
Yeah. You don't have to, right?
If we don't have to, I love being in front of people. So the more we can really see what they're seeing, the better. And then the decorative meetings are in person in the office. But if we're doing architectural meetings, it could be that we're on site and we're bringing materials to them. So it is a blend. But as much as we can be in front of them, we will.
Okay.
Yeah.
So talk to me about some of the specific milestones of those meetings that you use as check-ins with the client. So not necessarily, I guess you have your meeting milestones, but you probably also have communication milestones with your clients as well.
Yeah. So we check in with them, I'll say, or Laura will check in with them 4 times throughout the process, right? Like right after we start, make sure everything's going okay. How's everybody feeling? Is it what you expected? Were you confused? Right? Everything's great. And then let's say if we're doing a renovation or a new construction project, probably another quarter of the way through, because we're really deep into decision making. It can get stressful. It's a lot of stuff that we're showing people. So she's checking in again, and she's on a lot of the emails, so she can tell when people are getting frustrated if she needs to move that meeting ahead of time. But these are just calls with her to make sure everything's good.
Okay.
These are not design check-ins. We're doing that anyway, but these are operational check-ins to make sure the client is understanding everything. They like the cadence of the meetings. They like how information is being presented. and we can pivot if we need to, right? If someone feels like we're giving them too much information in a meeting, we can split them into smaller meetings. If they feel like we're not working at a pace that they want us to work, we work very fast. That means we're still going to split it up. You're going to get more information quicker versus us doing a lot of design and doing a large meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are some of the ways that you make sure the clients feel seen and heard and cared for throughout the project? It sounds like there's definitely a common theme of almost like vibe checks through the communication doing and being always having them top of mind and making them feel that way. But what are some other ways that you are making sure that the clients really feel that?
I think between the gifting and the check-ins, they feel seen and heard. I know other people take their clients to lunches or dinners. I think most of our clients are too busy for that. And when they have some downtime, they want to be with their family. So we totally understand. So it could be that we send them something so that they can do something with their family, right? They may not necessarily want to have lunch or dinner with me, but they can use something I've given them with their family.
I love that. That definitely feels like at home to me, because it's like at the end of the day, after a busy day and, you know, you're going in 72 directions. I mean, especially in New York City, just to have that downtime and that family time at home or out with your family is so important. So how do you personalize the experience for each client? So you have a consistency in your process, but how do you keep that like personalization that's happening?
You know, I think it comes down to really listening to them. In the beginning, when we started our gifting process, we had a whole spreadsheet of this is the gift that you get for this milestone, or this is what you get for your birthday. But everyone is so different, right? You know, some people like tea and don't like coffee, so we're not going to send them coffee, right? We're just listening to what they say to us and how they respond to us. And when we're with them, because we're with them so often, we can see what they're saying and doing. And we personalize the gifting to them. You know, if we know that their kid loves pink cupcakes, then that might be what they're getting, right? To make their child happy. But it also comes down to some people are also not phone people, right? Now I've heard you and I see you, and the only time you're going to get a phone call from me is when something's really wrong. Then they know it's serious that I'm calling them, right? It's just checking in on who they are and how they're coming forward and then reacting to them.
So I know text messaging is a big deal in business in general, but especially for designers. And we talk to so many designers that are like, oh my gosh, I have all these clients that are texting me and it's, you know, in the middle of the night and it's over the weekend and it's really painful to watch because it's like there's such a lack of boundary setting around that. Yeah. But you mentioned that you don't really text them very often. That's not really how you communicate. Is email the main form of communication for you?
Email, I tell everyone in the beginning, email's the best because everyone can be on it. If you send me a text, I might read it and then forgot that I've read it.
Yeah, that's
and
real.
Then you're going to think that I'm ghosting you, but I'm too busy during the day. You know, even if I'm working on your project, my brain might be in a different part of your project. So I may not remember to tell your lead designer what you've texted me. So put it in an email. If I can remember, I will screenshot it and put it in Slack for the team. But it's really hard for me during the day to get back to people. So email is best. If I get a text and I do remember, I email them back.
Okay.
So it's very clear. Yeah. But we don't have this problem. Knock on wood. Luckily, we don't have this problem. Our clients are very respectful, but it also comes back to the client that we're selecting, right? We are selecting people that value us and value their time and value their family. So they also don't want to be harassing you. And so if they do start texting quite a bit, I will say to them, you can keep texting me, but it's not going to help your project go faster because I'm going to forget. This is just who I am. This is my personality. So put it in an email. And they get it. And we course correct.
Okay. So then when it comes to like the reports that they're getting every week, that's via email as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And then you mentioned Slack. So not everybody uses Slack. I know we use it in our company. It's like a communication tool that allows you to have things that are channels per project, or like you got a marketing channel or a PR channel, that sort of thing. So it allows you to organize conversation, right, by channel. So you mentioned Slack, you use that internally. Does that work well for your company? Okay.
Yeah, we use Slack and we use Asana as well. We use Slack more for quick communication, just getting information across to the team, quick files. We are in the office 3 days a week. Some weeks we're here 5 days a week. Some weeks it's 3 days a week. So today's Friday. Most of the team's working from home, but we're still designing, right? So if they're sending me a screenshot of what a layout looks like, they can send it in Slack and I can respond and we can get things done very easily. This also helps when we're on site because we can send each other things, we can share. I just saw this, especially for me, I'm the bottleneck. I will be the one that forgets to tell people that someone called me or said something to me, put it in Slack. If it's nighttime, I'll schedule it to go in the morning so I don't bother anyone, but the information gets across.
Yeah, it's been a great tool for us as well.
Yeah.
Do you have subcontractors over in Slack as well? So some of your subs
just started this. We're going to see how it goes. We have them as external team members. I don't want them seeing all of our nonsense right now. Right. They may not want to continue chatting with us if they hear it all. We've got one of our contractors on Slack, and they've got their own channels for each project because they're working on quite a few projects for us. So for each of those clients, they have their own Slack channels, and we are sharing information with them. This is similar to what we would be doing when we text them, but it's great because we all have transparency. So sometimes there's a text with just me and one person, or the designer and the other person. This way everybody sees what everybody's saying and we can all catch each other's issues.
Yeah. And, I always say, like, it's the fastest, easiest way to get a hold of me. Like, I'm not necessarily going to see an email. I'm not necessarily going to remember a text message. I mean, I do try to make an effort to go back to those things, but if it's in Slack, like, it's the highest priority and it's the easiest thing for me to check. For sure.
It's easy to flip through, right? Like at the end of the day, I can flip through all the channels and make sure I didn't miss anything. But there's so many text messages and I don't read them all. So there's like 1,000 unread text messages. People that I know, you would see my phone and like throw it against the wall. I know it's not for everyone, but this is how I operate.
Okay, well, let's talk about your team. How does your team play into the client experience, and how do you make sure that there's consistency in how you're training them to communicate when you're in a client facing either role or scenario?
Yeah. Well, I will say everyone that we hire at some point is client facing. So you have to be able to communicate efficiently and clearly with clients, and you have to be kind and approach everything with positivity. That's one of our core values. Our lead designers are the main point of contact with our clients. So they are talking to them daily and or weekly. They are the ones you're going to see on site. I am obviously very, very involved in everything, but they are the ones that are going to be talking to the client. So when we are hiring people, we're really looking for people that can explain our point of view and answer questions in a way that clients will understand. And we work on this, right? So if we are having an issue, it's always brought to me and Laura, and we brainstorm, how do we approach this? What do we say to someone? So we can get ahead of anything, especially if someone's on site and the client may be there. We'll get a phone call or we'll get a Slack. Hey, this is the thing. So we can quickly say, this is what we're going to talk about. And this is the right solution. And our designers, because our clients are mostly wonderful, our designers are open to talking to them the way that they would talk to us, and we can, brainstorm with them together. Okay. I think Laura takes a temperature of them. So she does have like a unique point of view when she speaks with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in talking a little bit about creating moments of delight for your clients throughout their process with you, it sounds delightful so far. I'm being communicated with, I'm being well taken care of, you're remembering me, I'm top of mind, I'm being heard. Do you have any signature touches or surprise moments that you try to include as you're wowing your clients in the process?
I don't know if it's a signature touch, but in our onboarding gift, there is a book that we were published in. And so the client gets that along with something else. Toffee actually is probably one of our signatures. I know you guys use this too. The Enstrom's toffee is my favorite. The dark chocolate. Yep. The dark chocolate is our favorite. So we end up giving that out during the Christmas holidays, but sometimes even during the onboarding because it's a big, mostly requested gift from our client for our clients. So we put that in sometimes into onboarding, definitely into Christmas. When clients come in, we always have something for them to nosh on. So it could be croissants. There's an amazing bakery nearby that we have the most delicious croissants in New York City delivered. If a client is vegan, they'll have nuts. We have great nuts, for them to eat. If it's an evening meeting and we're talking about budget, you will have champagne or white wine or sometimes a cocktail. If we know somebody loves Negronis, we will make Negronis for them. Okay. And it's really just thinking about what they love, right? It's like having your friend over. If you know your friend likes something, you're going to get it for them so they feel comfortable in your house. So it's really just being attentive. And then our holiday gifts, obviously the Enstroms, but we always try and find something fun. I think last year we had a really unique soap and dish that I found at a trade show. I got that for everyone. So it's just finding unique things to put a smile on people's faces.
Okay. Yeah, the Enstroms is great. It's actually toffee made here in Denver. And
I know. It was the toffee of the queen.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, okay. I know. It was.
Yeah. I mean, I literally can take my kids there for ice cream and toffee after school if I want to. But more recently, for our boardroom, we put together actual Pro Collective boxes. So we took a little couple extra steps with them to have a customized box.
I think I got one.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Yeah, I think I got one.
Love it. Okay. So looking back, what changes have you made to your workflow that you think have really improved your client experience? Because you didn't start, you're a very personable person, and you want to care for people. I know that as your friend already.
Yeah.
But lesson learned, right? As you go through the process, what are some of those improvements and changes that you've made over time?
I think setting expectations is huge. And I didn't quite know how to do that in the beginning. I thought I was telling people what we were doing and I wasn't clear enough. So now our motto is, you cannot say it enough times. You have to say it 10 times for someone to understand what you're trying to say. Right. So the meeting structure and meeting process, the way that we design, I say it on our first phone call. I say it every time I see them. When I see them for a meeting, I tell them what to expect in the next meeting. We start every meeting with a meeting agenda and I say, this is what we're going to talk about today. And then when we leave, we repeat everything that we heard. We do not just walk out of a meeting. We reiterate all of the decisions that were made or all of the questions that were asked. And then we tell them what they're going to expect in the next meeting and then when the next meeting is.
Got it.
We are trying to be overly clear and overly communicative so that everybody feels that they understand what's going on. We have a Dropbox. Everything goes into the Dropbox. Nobody reads anything in the Dropbox. But the one time when they are frustrated in the middle of the project because there's nothing to do and we're just in construction, they will go in that Dropbox and I hope everything is in there. But
okay.
These are the things that we have started to do or have done to make clients feel more comfortable.
Right. So it's this is how we're going to communicate. This is where you can find your stuff. If there's an emergency, I'm going to pick up the phone and call you. It seems pretty simple overall.
It's really just telling people what you're going to do and then doing it.
Yeah. And easier said than done sometimes, right? It sounds so simple. All right. Well, what are 3 pieces of advice that you would give other designers and our listeners today to take back to their businesses and life as they're trying to elevate their client journey?
I don't think that, Gail has taught me this and you've taught me this. You can't do it all at once. So pick a part of the journey that you're trying to edit or improve upon and work on that before you work on the whole thing, because I think it's too overwhelming and there are too many small parts that make up the big journey. So you have to really start focusing. Are you going to focus on the intake? Are you going to focus on the gifting? Are you going to work on the communication? Pick one thing and really focus on that first and the rest will follow. Ask your clients what they think about your process. That is really the hardest thing for me to do because I love getting feedback, but I don't know how to do it without feeling like I'm bothering them.
Okay.
You know, because I never want to feel like I'm annoying people. I'm working on that, but it's really hard for me because I always feel like people are too busy, but they kind of want to tell you they love you, you know? So we've decided that for my personal comfort, Laura has to ask them, you know, but someone on your team needs to ask, is it in a Google form where they fill it out? Or is it, you know, on the phone if they're phone people, but just asking them how you're doing and what you can be doing better or what you could be doing less of, because some of the feedback that we got was we are sending too many Friday updates. When the majority of the work has been done, they don't want to hear from us anymore until something else important happens. So that was really important feedback from us. For us, those are two things. I don't know about the third, but maybe it's just listening to your gut because you kind of know how everyone's feeling and you know when they're upset, you know where they're happy, and kind of trust yourself.
Yeah, and put yourself in their shoes, I think is what I hear you say. Like, you know how you would want to be treated if you were putting that kind of level of investment and in time and dollars into something that you're going to use every single day as your sanctuary. So I think that makes a lot of sense. Well, Tina, thank you so much for being on today. I always love getting to catch up with you and get your vibe and your beat coming out of I know you've been very busy coming off of market and all sorts of different magazine covers and photo shoots.
It's been a busy month, but I always love talking to you, so I'm really happy to have been here with you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks to Tina for joining Erin on the Creative Genius podcast and offering her generous insights into the systems, practices, and personal touches that have helped her business create lasting client relationships. We hope Tina's approach can offer a blueprint or at least some inspiration for refining your own processes. And thank you for listening to this week's episode.